The universal law that explains every setback that you've experienced. And this is something that no one talks about. So your vibration and frequency isn't supposed to be high 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And when I realized this, everything changed. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how to hold your frequency and your vibration even when you're experiencing setbacks in life. And I'm going to be talking to you about that through a universal law that no one mentions. Make sure you stay till the end, because I'm going to be giving you some real practical tips and techniques that you can use to hold your frequency and your vibration even when you feel like everything is falling apart. So stay tuned. For anyone who's new here, welcome to my channel. My name's Rita and I'm here to help you achieve love, success and abundance from within. So if you like that type of content, press the subscribe button and drop a like on the video, because it helps channel out. Also, just to let you know, check out the description box. You've got a couple of links in there. One to a free resource and also another to my course. Both of those giving you some real key information on how you can manifest the life that you want. So check it out. Right, so let's jump into today's video. One of the key things that I need you to know is that when it comes to your frequency and your vibration, you need to know that it's not about you being happy and in the best mood all the time. This is just not possible for your average human. If you're setting yourself that bar and that type of target, you're going to be disappointed, because you're going to think that something's going wrong, because you're just not going to be able to achieve that. What's really important is that when you do have a dip and your mood does drop, which it will, and you will experience setbacks, what's really important is the process that you go through to get back into alignment and how long that takes you. That's really what your key focus should be, rather than thinking I should never ever fall out of alignment or I should never have a bad day. One of the key universal principles that I really need you to be aware of, and when I found out about this really shifted a lot for me, is the law of rhythm. And what the law of rhythm is, it's a principle which explains that everything within this universe is always moving, and it's always going up and down, and sometime it will dip, sometime it will be up, sometime it will be down, and that happens with everything. Everything's always constantly moving. Now, with that in mind, think about it on a very basic level. For example, the seasons. The seasons never ever stop moving. They're always moving and gradually moving from one season to the next, day by day, and without you even realizing, it's always transitioning. And it's no different to your mood and your vibration. So if you think that you can be happy and maintain one single happy mood forever, you are trying to work against a basic universal law and principle. And that's where you're going to run into issues there. When you have that mindset that everything should be going well all the time and you should always be in the best mood ever, you're actually creating resistance in that moment, because you're trying to go against a fundamental universal law. And if it's one thing that never ever stops and can never ever be stopped, are universal laws. They keep going regardless of how you feel and what you think. They just are. They will always be there. When I learned about the law of rhythm, this was a dramatic turning point for me. And I think sometimes when you learn about spirituality and you train yourself to be positive like I did, and you train yourself to be optimistic and always look for the best. I remember doing all of that and going along really happy and feeling great, like I've made such a change. And then one day out of nowhere, I just woke up feeling down. There was nothing in particular why I felt down, just felt in a bad mood, and I felt so guilty. I was thinking, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? I'm going against feeling positive. I'm going against gratitude, because everything's going fine in life, so I should be happy and I should be feeling good. And I felt so bad, and it's something that I really struggled with. And then what I found is I would get to this place where I would be trying to fight against a bad mood. So I'll be trying to make myself feel happy again. I'll be trying to be hyper focused on gratitude and try to shift this feeling. And I realized that I was basically battling with myself. I was trying to fight against the universal principle of rhythm. And I tell you, when I found out about this, it was like a light bulb moment for me, because I felt like, do you know what? It's okay to have days where you don't feel good. And that was the other thing. If something happened to me that was unexpected or that I deemed to be negative, I'd be thinking, why is this happening? Why is the universe making this bad thing happen to me? I'm a good person. I'm positive. I'm in gratitude. And it's like I almost was taking it personal. And when I found out about this principle, I felt so good, because I thought like, yes, this all makes sense now. It really does make sense. So it kind of took away that inward battle that I was having with myself. And these days, because I know about that principle now, I don't mind if I have an off day, or I don't mind if something happens which seems a little off track as to what I was expecting, because I know now that the rhythm of life means that these things will happen sometime. The main thing that I would say that you need to be mindful of, and this is what I do, is just be mindful of the length of time that you spend in that down mood. And that's going to differ for everybody, because the longer you allow something to go on for, is sometime it can then become second nature to you, where your body feels like that is the default place where it needs to be. So you do have to be mindful with it. But what I'm saying is, don't fight your negative moods, don't fight your down days, don't fight the events which you feel are negative and try and get rid of them. Allow them to be there, come face to face with them, feel what you feel, and that's okay, and know that they will pass. However, in saying that, and in talking about the law of rhythm, there is something else that I really want to make you aware of, which is really important. As much as the law of rhythm obviously does exist and it is real, you have to also be aware of patterns, because sometimes events happen in life and they can be a one-off event, which is fine, and we can put that down to the law of rhythm. However, if you're noticing that over a period of time, there's a pattern to the events that are happening to you. So let's say, for example, it's to do with finances. If you notice over a period of time, you always have issues with money, or you always seem to be in a poor financial position, then you really need to just sit back and you need to analyze yourself. Is there something there which shows a deeper pattern about my self-concept, about the beliefs that you have? Because that can also show up in the events that are happening to you. And that would then be your signal to take a look at that and ask yourself, what do I really feel about money? Do I really feel that I'm worthy of abundance? So make sure that you assess the events that are happening in your life. It's about becoming aware. Repeated patterns are just a delayed form of consciousness. So what that would mean is, what's showing up is really just a reflection of what's going on in your subconscious mind. It's just that it's being delayed in this physical plane, but it's bubbling away in the subconscious, and then it's showing itself at a later date. And just remember, if you do notice any patterns, the goal is not to fight it and try and battle with it like what I was trying to do with my moods. That never works, and it just makes you feel bad. The goal is to find out what is the pattern and what's behind that. How have I come to develop that pattern? When was the first time I started experiencing this particular pattern? What do I really think about relationships, about finances, about my emotions? And you can be honest with yourself, and that will help you to uncover the patterns that are there. So when we're talking about how to actually hold that frequency and that vibration, I've touched on it a bit already, but I've got to emphasize it again. Allow the emotions to come to the forefront. Say out loud or journal to yourself, whatever I'm going through now is temporary. It is going to change. At some point, that tide is going to turn. You are going to see a change. Another way to hold your frequency during setbacks is gratitude. And sometimes the situation that you're going through, if it's quite hard, it might be hard to focus on that actual event and try and find some gratitude within it. And that's understandable. Say, for example, that you just can't feel gratitude for that situation. I would say look for other things in life that you can feel gratitude for. Anything. Your health, your home, your family, your finances, where you live, whatever it is, gratitude will always help you. You know, when you're going through tough times and setbacks, sometimes you need a release. And a good way of finding release is actually journaling. Journal your thoughts and what your feelings are and just get it out of your system. And one of the things that I've done before is just taken a piece of paper, written down all the negativity that I'm feeling, all the bad things that I want to get out of my system, and then I've burnt it. Obviously, do this safely. And I've done that kind of like as a release ritual. And I've done it in my garden, and I've said to the universe, as I've done it, I'm releasing these issues to you, so just take them away from me. That always just felt like it was something symbolic in terms of just helping to get some of that stress out of my body. You don't have to burn it, you can just write it and keep it. And talking of releasing, the other thing that's absolutely great when you're experiencing setbacks and can help you to maintain your vibration and your frequency is breath work. Like, never underestimate the power of breath work and how much it helps your nervous system and your body to just calm right down. And realize that when you're upset or you're stressed, your body's in a state of fight or flight, and it's gearing up for some big predator to come and get you. And that is the physiological change what's going on inside of you when you're in those moments. And so to take a massive breath in, count to 10, hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then take another massive breath out, again counting for 10. So in for 10 through your nose, hold for 4 seconds, and then breathe out through your mouth for 10 seconds. I can't tell you how much of a release that is for your body and how much it just helps you to release stress. And I swear by that. And that in itself helps your body to realize that I'm safe, I'm actually okay. Because as I said, your body would be feeling under a state of stress. So that's a massive way of helping you to hold your vibration. So I guess the main message that I want to give you in this video is life is always going to have ups and downs in it. That is what the law of rhythm tells us. So I don't want you to freak out when you're experiencing setbacks. Just know that that is normal in life. But as I said, be mindful of any patterns that are coming to the forefront. And if you're seeing the same kind of event happening on a reoccurring basis, you need to pay attention to that, and there's some work that you need to do. Okay, so with that said, let me know in the comments which one of these tips will you use to keep yourself in a high vibration and to keep yourself aligned. Comment down below, drop a like on the video if it resonates with you, subscribe to the channel, remember to check out the description box, and I will see you in the next video.